Alright guys, today's the day. We have all the batteries in. We're going to start doing the battery testing. We have all the batteries right here laid out on the table. And how I'm going to do this is we have this load center here. And if you want to check this out, we can do everything from 1 ohm down to a 1/4 ohm right here. Got a watt meter, and basically we're going to log this on the laptop voltage over time to see what the batteries are doing and what the discharge curve looks like. One thing to note, we're going to be measuring internal resistance off of the iCharger 306B. Again, might not be the most accurate tool, but the point of this test is just to have everything, it's still relative, right? So you can see how they compare from one to another. So that's really a thing here. Try to keep it a little bit more on the simple side, just not to overcomplicate it. All the batteries are broken in the same exact way from the get-go, and I've got an infrared thermometer, and we're all going to do the measure the IR at 70 degrees, and we're going to plot that data for you guys, give you guys the weight of each battery pack, run it through, and we're probably going to do it 2 different ways, probably one at around 10 to 15 amps, and hopefully the target of like somewhere in between 20 to 30 amps, and pull just a steady amp draw and plot the discharge curves that way, because that simulates probably around where most people are cruising at. Again, I know a lot of people were saying, simulate voltage spikes, stuff like that, but that just gets too hard to have a controlled environment. Basically, all the packs are at the same temperature, they're all brand new, they've been broken in the same exact way. We pull them and get the discharge curve, and then at the end we've got the battery temperature as they sit. You should be able to get the information that you need just off of those variables. So without any further ado, we're going to get started. Alright guys, now that we've got a chance to look at this data, few things that are really interesting that came up. One is, for me, I always thought if you have a cell that's got a low internal resistance, that's always going to be a better performing cell than the one with a little bit higher resistance, measured at storage capacity. These results did not show that. There's actually a couple of packs that, although they did well and have a low internal resistance when we measured them at first, you look at the discharge curve and they actually don't perform as well as some pack that has a little bit higher internal resistance. I don't know why that is. Hopefully you guys that know more than me about this can discuss that, but that's something I found that was really interesting. The second thing is going to be how to, or I guess what is a good performing pack? What does that mean to you? What are you looking in a pack? Because when I first graph these discharge curves, you can see that the first thing that catches your eye is some of the packs, they'll hold their voltage for a long period of time before they fall on their face compared to other packs. And that was what I was initially going to, but what's really important for me is throughout the main portion of the flight, what is the pack that's holding the best voltage, that's not sagging down? Because, we're flying 2-3 minutes sometimes. It's, to me, I don't care as much the extra 20 to 30 seconds on the end of a flight before it falls off if I've got higher voltage, thus more RPM for the, average portion of the flight. So those are the first 2 things that I found that are really interesting. Another thing I wanted to mention is the amp rating that we pulled the packs at. It held around 15 amps, and although that seems low, the packs were getting really pretty hot and discharged quite fast, so I figured that that would probably be good enough. It's all relative. I know you guys would want to see me doing amp spikes and simulating pumping the throttle, etc., but realistically, there's no real way that I could easily replicate that and keep everything controlled. So hopefully by doing everything the same exact way, it's all relative and it still shows us what we need to see. Another thing you guys are probably wondering is, where's all the temperature readings? That was a big important part of this. I had that IR gun, but what I found through testing is where I was shining it on the label made a huge difference on what the temperature reading was. Some are matte, some are glossy, some are green, some are silver, some are, I mean, it was all over the place. I could take one pack and shine it in 5 different areas and there'd be a 20-degree change in the temperature. So unfortunately, I didn't get to get that data. I know a lot of you guys wanted it, but there was really not a good way to do it. The next thing that I have to disclose is 2 of the packs were not 1300 milliamp. They were sent to me and I tested them anyways, but it's not 100% apples to apples because obviously as milliamp hours go up, so does your C rating, typically. So there was the jet fuel pack by Stone Blue Airlines is actually a 1400 milliamp pack. And the green Pulse battery is a 1350 milliamp. So those are the only 2 outliers on that front. The rest are all 1300 milliamp.